Instagram. We are live up in here. I have a very special guest who is going to be joining me, but let's go ahead and see what we can get to do. Hope everybody's having a blessed day today. It's a fabulous Monday, nice and warm outside. We're going to be sharing today a very powerful concept. What's going on, buddy? My man, Rick. We have where you at, Rick? What's the status of things? Where are you? I know summertime, people traveling here, there, everywhere. I am presently in Maryland, getting ready to make a trip back to Florida, but I wanted to come on and share a very special guest on today who's going to be helping us really talk about this concept of trauma, and how we can get unstuck from these situational things that happen to us. I've been focused on MindShift. I got a book that's going to be coming out, MindShift 31 Secrets to Radically Transform Your Life, Your Work, and Your Worth. That's right, North Carolina. I remember you, bro. I see you, Rick. Celebration Jacks. I have an opportunity to share. There she is. Celeste, the counselor, who's going to be joining us. Celeste, she's going to click that little button, and then we're going to add her to the video. And I'm telling you, y'all don't want to miss. She is a gold mine, a resource that can help you radically shift, get unstuck. Stuff happens to you. There we go. Come on in here. Joining us, go ahead and click this accept. Wait, gotta click it again.
Hey,
There we go.
I'm good.
How are we doing, Celeste?
How are you, Danny?
Awesome. I am blessed. It's been a full, fabulous, marvelous Monday. And I'm excited because every time we connect, you start giving the game, and you have wisdom. And we get to share it with the people live on IG.
Yeah, Mondays are different as an entrepreneur, huh?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah. They are
different.
nonstop.
We didn't have to get in traffic today, but we had to create our own traffic so that we could execute, right? Yeah.
That's it. And I know you're a part of the traffic, sales, profit crew. And so there's so many different aspects of you. But one of my favorite parts of you is that you are a counselor, licensed therapist, and you have been helping people process their junk for a long time. How long have you been doing that?
Yeah, I love it. I love it because, when I show up and I see the junk, I'm excited because I see, it's some good stuff behind there. Like, let's pull that up. Ooh, what's going to happen if we uncover that? So when I see junk, it's different. Junk has a positive spin when I look at it and I see it. So, yeah.
I'm glad that you're so optimistic about junk, because I don't know if I feel the same way. Because, I'll tell just a piece of this story. I didn't realize, the impact of something that can happen in those early formative years can have on you. I remember sitting in premarital counseling with, the guy, John Nixon Sr., and he's going through family history. And I mentioned to him that, I didn't grow up with my biological father. It wasn't really a big deal. He wasn't there. And he's like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm like, what? He's like, there's something there. I was like, no, it's not. lo and behold, I got married Celeste. Oh my word. Like
Oh
it was some
yeah.
junk. And it was like it was impacting almost all aspects of life, and I wasn't able to live in that life more abundantly because I didn't realize that I needed to kind of get healed where I
Yeah.
had wounds I didn't even
Yeah.
know
So it's interesting
existed.
because people oftentimes walk through life and all that, and we call it trauma, right? All that trauma becomes their norm. And you try to check that trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and there you see some defensiveness. You see a whole lot of biting back, coming out because oftentimes people
Mm-hmm.
don't even know they have it, or they would like to believe that it didn't affect them because it happened 20 years ago or 30 years ago or 10 years ago. Because in our mind, we should be better.
So wait, Justin, I'm sorry. Are you suggesting that time
Oh, who
doesn't
said
heal all
that?
wounds?
Who said that time heals all wounds?
I heard that at several
It,
places.
it
It
sounds like
sounds
that's
like
a
you don't
big
agree.
fat lie. So time, huh, not at all. It's like putting a little fire under your bed. Eventually the entire bed is going to burn, and look, and that's that time right there. It's like, okay, it's been a year. Okay, you let it keep going. The whole bed, the whole house is going to be on fire. So if anybody's dealing with anything and it's been a long time ago, we are encouraging you today to start pulling it up. Let me give you an example. This was very interesting. This was a long time ago. In therapy, I was seeing a guy, and like the first session, second session, I started picking up on something. So the third session, I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, have you been molested?" He said, "No." I said, "Okay." So
Mm-hmm.
then the next session, in the middle of the session, I said, "Hey, have you been molested?" He said, "No, you asked me that
Mm-hmm.
last week." I was like, "Oh, okay." So then the next session, I said, "Hey, have you been molested?" And he went off. "I can't believe you. You asked me that last week and no week." He started going off. And then the memory came up, and he sat back down,
Oh my
and he
goodness.
sat back down and said, "Oh my gosh." Because he was suppressing all that stuff for so long that he couldn't even remember that it happened. But I saw all the effects of it. I was like, I saw what was going on in the bedroom. And then I saw how he was treating different people, how he was viewing himself. He had some OCD tendencies. And I was like, no, he's been molested. He's trying to gain control over everything else. But he didn't see it at all. And it wasn't until he got completely angry. He was so enraged that he stood up like, "We are gonna fight today." I knew what I was doing. I knew I wasn't in any harm, but I pushed because he could take it. But when he remembered what
Mm-hmm.
happened, then we could really start the work. But as long as you're walking around and that trauma is your norm, it'll be everybody else's fault, and there won't be any.
Wait, you said you said that when he remembered what had happened, then you could start the work. So the implication is that if we try to, like an ostrich, put our head in a hole and just act like it didn't happen, act like it's not affecting us, act like that person, we're still cool. If we're not dealing with it, that we can't heal
Yeah.
from it.
No, because anything you're aware of, you
And
can
so
change. Yeah, you can. Anything you're aware of, you can change. But imagine not being aware of it.
I love.
Yeah. Yeah. So it really
Mm-hmm.
is everybody else's fault. But the truth is that they're just pressing the buttons, but the buttons are already there. Like, so.
Wow. And I think this is especially near and dear to me what your work is, and even as you're describing, how we can go another route and achieve a better path. I've come in contact with so many men, especially because I work very with men in a couple of different settings, and I had no clue because I was blessed to not have something like that traumatic happen to me. But there's a lot of people
Yeah.
that it has. There's a lot of people that are big, strong men. There's this one guy who I was working with, and he's big diesel. He knows martial arts, and he actually hurt somebody pretty bad in martial arts and stopped doing it. But what he said to me was his whole motivation for getting big, buff, and diesel was so that no one would ever do to him what was done to him as a little boy. You know?
Yeah.
And it's sad, but the more, and I was in a session with some men maybe about, well, I won't say the time because I don't want to give it away, but there were several men in the room that had never opened up and shared the fact that they were molested. And I used to think that being molested was a thing that happened to girls.
Oh, no.
And not that it's good, but I had no clue. I had no clue until very.
No, it happens to boys a lot. It happens to boys a lot. The difference between the boys and the girls is that the boys generally are not given enough support. Girls, honestly, we don't even know about it until sometimes they're a little bit older because they don't tell. They generally don't tell unless a parent finds out about it. But the boys, on the other hand, it's really a hush-hush secret. And so oftentimes they don't tell till they get older. And then when they tell, it usually kind of shows up in different sexual behaviors, honestly. But they aren't given the support. Anything to do with sex and men or boys, it's blown off. It really is blown off. And then how do they feel when they have to internalize? Because the child at 5 or 6 years old is still 5 or 6 when you're 30. He didn't grow up. That wherever that trauma happened, there's a pause right there for you to always come back to. So until you actually deal with that trauma, even if it wasn't molestation, it could be anything. And if it was something that bothered you, it may not have seemed deep to someone else, but there's a big hook waiting for you to come back. And it's always going to be there. And a part of you is still going to operate at that age in some level, especially in relationships. And that's why you see a lot of people in their communication style, it really is all about them. Sometimes they're stuck at 8 years old when it's like, no, I wanted that last piece of cake for myself. I mean, you know what I'm saying? When you see that in grown 30, 40, 50-year-old men or women, it's because they're stuck. They're stuck. So, but yeah.
And they can't get by acting as if they're not. Well, I was going to say acting as if they're not in pain, but I don't know whether that would be a fair assessment to be able to state, because are they not in pain, or are they just suppressing the pain?
So let me tell you what's interesting. I was having a conversation the other day, and this particular sentence came out, and I said I got to do a live on that. And it's being numb. Oftentimes people become numb because they think that they won't feel. But let me tell you, now we're going to get into something a little bit deeper. We'll get into it later. I know you and I talked about it a little bit. But that numbness causes every part of you to feel at an intense rate when you're not verbalizing it. It's like getting beat up on the inside. Can you imagine somebody all day doing this to your heart? They're in a fight with your heart, and your heart can't fight back because there's no acknowledgement. There's no true okay, good. Yeah, so
last part of,
they're not acknowledging
say that last part again.
All the war is going on the inside. I mean, you got Afghanistan going on all day long. Even when you go to sleep, that's why you wake up tired, right? Go to sleep and you wake up tired.
Wow.
It's because all night this is what's been going on. Every organ in your body is having to deal with it. So yeah.
And you're bringing me something else that I started learning from you.
You're breaking up a lot, but if everybody else can see you clearly, I'm good. And there are a number of comments. But yeah, if everyone else, it's a little bit better.
Okay. Yeah, how's it now?
It's a little bit better, but everybody else can see it might be on my end.
Okay. If you're in the comments and one of us is breaking up, can you let us know who's breaking up so that we can see how we can bring
Yes,
healing
absolutely. And Jazzy
to
JC
the
says, sister, we have to unveil to be healed. Absolutely. And Bertho and
oh yeah.
Debbie's on, and who is that? Fun Fit Well.
Now, for the sake of those who are joining us here, like I'd be curious to know whether or not you know of someone, or you may have dealt with someone who's currently dealing with something that was traumatic as a child. If you wanted to put what that is, we touched on fatherlessness, we touched on molestation. There's so many other things can wound you as a child. But I wanted to even as we invite people to put things in the comments so that we can normalize the struggle, because the last thing that I want to do is to get here and act like everything is fine except for these weird people over here who had something bad happen to them. It's a normal thing, and the statistics. What are the statistics around these traumatic experiences that people are carrying around? Like, what can you share based on being a mental health professional and what you're seeing? What percentage of people are dealing with millstones?
So that's a very good question that I can't even give you an accurate percentage. And the reason is exactly for what you're saying. Trauma has been normalized. So then people don't report what they feel is normal. They don't see anything wrong with it. And I know a lot of people like that. They would say, oh no, my childhood was amazing. I know a whole family of like 12. And they would sit around and they would joke about different things. And when I would go around them, this is not news, so I'm not telling anybody's business, and they're not clients. And I would go around and they would be joking about how their dad did this, and the dad and the mom did, and it wasn't until we were older, somebody from my hometown. So it wasn't until we were older that I was like, wait a minute. They never talked about anything good. And when you ask them about their childhood, they always talked like it was wonderful. And then one day someone admitted, every time we talk about dad, it's always how he beat us.
Wow.
At the bus stop because of such and such reason, and I said, wow, they all normalized that to somehow cut down on the pain, but the pain is still there. And you see it, just like the client I mentioned a while ago. It wasn't that it had gone away. He couldn't remember it. That was interesting, but it was still affecting him. So in terms of a percentage, I would say 100% of us were raised by flawed individuals. I will say that. I'm for sure.
Wow.
I'm for sure on that. But in terms of who's experienced so much trauma, I can't really tell you the exact numbers. You can say, well, 1 in 4 people have experienced this, 1 in 3 girls have experienced this, and 1 in 4. I mean, we can go into things like that. But at the end of the day, trauma, a lot of people have dealt with trauma. In fact, most people have. It's just been normalized. And then what could be traumatic to you may not be traumatic to me, depending upon what it is.
True. That's very, very true. Now, I know we don't have time to fully unpack my next line of questioning, but one of the things that I got from you that I alluded to a little while ago is the fact that there is a connection between the pain that we carry in our mind and our socio-emotional state that can bleed into our body. And so our mind literally makes our body sick when we don't heal from these painful experiences. And can you just walk us through?
There's a lot to say about that.
What you've seen.
There's a whole lot to say about that, Danny, and I'm glad that you brought it up, because you deal with a lot of relationships. So instead of me going where I would love to go, maybe we can do a whole live on it, because every organ I can talk about an emotion that breaks that organ down. Okay. If we talk about the liver, I can tell you, we can spend a lot of time on that, and I can tell you why people are having this issue, that issue, and their blood is like this because, right? But because you deal with relationships and you help people in that area, I'll say this. Unresolved issues in relationships affect the reproductive organs. So women walking around with endometriosis, bad periods, you know what I'm saying? And their fibroids, whatever it is, men walking around with some of the prostate issues and some of the other issues that they have, unresolved issues in relationships. And it is so amazing how when you pull the emotional issues up, the physical issue goes away. It is miraculous. It's something beautiful. And I think it's because we were created to never carry stress. We were. When they did research on the brain, they found that when stress was introduced, the brain literally did not know what to do with it. The brain would have to grow these branches almost to be able to have something so that we could adapt and survive. But we were not created to ever deal with it. For another time, we'll talk about this little time frame that you have to deal with issues before it makes it into illness. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, but those unresolved issues in relationships, y'all, come on. Just because you haven't been with him in 10 years or that relationship ended for you with that woman 15 years ago, you may be stained. You may have stains of her on you, and they make it to your reproductive area. So any issues that you're having, I want you to go back and deal with it. And anything you're aware of, you can change. Stop pretending like it didn't happen. Stop saying that happened a long time ago. Let's actually acknowledge it. You know, you might do it right now. How do you prevent it from making its way to your organs? The quickest way is today, acknowledge it to someone. I know you want to keep everything. You know how it is. We want to keep everything to ourselves. I'll just take it to my journal. Now, that is definitely really good. Write about it, too, because that gets to the subconscious mind when you start writing about things. Find somebody you can trust and really tell them. Say, you know what? I've been holding this in for 10 years. Let me just get this out. Let me say it. And I'm really proud of somebody close to me because she's been doing such a wonderful job. Maybe the last year and a half, and I'm super proud of her. But I know a lot of people that think that the way is to close in. So your organs have to go through that war again that we talked about. That war's going on.
So you're literally declaring war on your organs by not healing from the painful situations that happened in your life. Wow. I declare war.
So every time you have an opportunity and you deny yourself that opportunity to emotionally release, you are giving everything on the inside of you permission to declare war. And war ain't pretty on the inside because the war poisons your blood and your blood is going to all those organs, right? And this is the last thing I'm going to say about it because I could do this part all day long. I love it. For every 5 minutes, I know this is it. For every 5 minutes of unresolved anger, it poisons the blood, and it takes the body 30 minutes to get rid of that poison out the blood. Imagine being angry for a day, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years he's on your nerves, 20 years he's been getting on your nerves. Now your liver is toxic. You only got one of them, just one. You know, and then you're like, ooh, I got high blood pressure. How'd you get high blood pressure? Oh, because it runs in my mother's family. No, it doesn't. The way you deal with issues runs in the family. But anyway, but all of that to say, because you deal with relationships and you help so many people, Dan.
Wait. I gotta catch my breath. Oh my. She just said, that doesn't run in my family. The way y'all deal with issues, what runs in your family, and that is affecting the same organs in your body. And you think that it's situation. You think that it's a result of something that can't be changed.
But what kind of God would we serve if our fate were dependent on the sins completely, the sins of our parents? Then the cross wouldn't matter. There would be no grace. Forgiveness. We just have to get what they got. It's just like, no. He was like, no. You know what? Y'all don't have to do this. That other generation did it, but you don't have to. So let's go. Let's go to the cross. You see that grace right there? All your organs are created in that image. And there is no illness, there's no disease in that image. So once we clear out emotionally, we get back to our reference point of 100% mind and body health. So that's it for me. But I guess we'll be dealing with you because we're talking about, guys, we are going to be going live every week because I have so many questions for you. I had to sneak in the relationship piece for you because you weren't talking about yourself. But you help so many people and your heart is in it and you do it with such love. And I have so many questions for you because there's a whole lot. You've been in relationships and helping people with relationships, despite everything that you have gone through or created, it's a world of its own. So I want us to get into that next time.
We definitely will dive in. Yeah, I believe, and I think I'll close with this because you summarized this. I heard one person put it this way: pain that is not transformed becomes pain that is transmitted.
Yes.
And
let me put that in the chat so that
kind
people can hear it again. Pain that's not transformed
becomes that is transmitted. And you just told me this in the blood. You just said, for those of you who just joined us, Celeste, the counselor, just told us that specific emotions bring disease to specific organs in your body. So if you've got some issues in one of the organs, you're telling me that you have a cheat code, and we're not going to dive into this right now, that can link the disease to an emotion. And this is so important because when you know where you are, when you don't know where you are, you can't get anywhere. GPS, first thing GPS wants to know is, hey, you are here.
Are you?
Because you know where you are. Yeah. You can get everywhere. But where are you?
And I just want to...
I can see you. I'm looking right at you, but I'm asking you, where are you?
And I just want to bring some relief to somebody's pain on here today. You don't know why you came on. You came on. You didn't know we were going live. There was no announcement. But you're going through some emotional pain today. And it doesn't have to go any further than this live. It doesn't. This live, you called this live into being. You asked God for something. You've been asking him for something for a while. And your health may be one of the things that you want to get back. 90 to 95% of all illness has an emotional root cause. So we just brought you the answer. We just brought you the answer. So clear yourself. Danny is talking about relation. That's Danny's partner. Not partner like that. We're talking partner like business partner. So Danny.
Thank you for that.
Clear that up for you. So, but Danny deals with a lot of relationship stuff. I mean, I deal with a lot of stuff, but we just want you to know today, just write about what you're aware of. We're going to be dropping nuggets. We're going to be bringing you answers. We're going to get on, every week, bringing it to you. Just be ready. So what do you think, Danny, about doing this every Monday at, let's say, 6 o'clock work?
Let's go. Monday
let's say Monday evenings, anywhere between 6 and 6:30 we will be on.
Yeah, we're going to throw it out and get the definitive time, get a name for it, and make it happen. So Celeste, the counselor, you guys need to make sure that you follow her. If you're watching this on my page, you need to follow Celeste, the counselor. I'm telling you this because she and I have an agreement that she's going to be posting more. She's already made the video.
I'm ready. You guys, I've been keeping a secret we'll tell you guys about. So I've been kind of like this, but there's no excuse. And so Danny sent me a whole crazy song he made up. Well, he didn't make up. He just made me a part of it. So, but so I am, because I am committed to you guys. And Jazzy, JC, you are very, very welcome.
Yeah. Well, everyone, be blessed, and remember, God is a God who restores.
Right now.
Broken. That's it. He specializes in taking what's broken and making it better than new. Is there anything too hard for the Lord? I might need to close on that mark right there.
Have a good night, guys.